Coming up, details about protests on campus, in San Antonio, and even on the stage at the Grammys.
And details on the partial government shutdown, how it ended just days after it began.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and welcome to the first Newswave broadcast of 2026. Today is Friday, February 6th. I'm Baden Russell.
And I'm Kiara Taylor. For the past 2 years, Trinity has been working on the construction of the Welcome Center and Event Hall, located next to Dickey Hall in Hazel. The building will be home to another cafe and orientation theater. In addition to that, the building will feature a skywalk through an opening in the back of Coates Library. This building will allow for another food option on upper campus besides Coates for students, while also being a grander welcoming area for visiting families and prospective students. The event hall will include a catering kitchen, a water feature, and a circular orientation theater for families and new students. Justin Doty, head of admissions, said, quote, "It was a thought of it would be amazing if we had a little bit more of a front door to the university. When you think about having prospective families or just anyone coming to Trinity, being able to come down on that kind of grand entrance is going to be pretty stunning," end quote. As of now, the building's construction has stayed on pace and is projected to open in fall of 2026.
February is Black History Month, and the Trinity community has lots of events in store to celebrate. The first event is this coming Tuesday, February 10th, where there will be a trivia night put on by the Student Inclusion and Belonging Office. The trivia will test contestants' knowledge on Black innovators and their historic achievements, and will take place from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the Fiesta Room. On Friday, February 13th, the 10th annual Douglas Day Transcribe-a-thon will take place, and participants will assist in transcribing materials that produce more accessible resources about Black history. This event will take place from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Coates Library. On Friday, February 27th, the Black Student Union and Trinity Diversity Connection will host the 5th annual Black Essence Festival, where there will be catered food, music, and dancing for all to enjoy. The theme is Soul Train, and participants are encouraged to wear 70s-themed attire. The festival is from 1 to 4 p.m. on the 27th and will also be in the Fiesta Room. There are plenty of fun opportunities to celebrate the rich history of this month on campus, and we will be sure to keep you updated on other opportunities in store.
On Monday, Trinity students walked out in protest to ICE. At noon, students gathered near Magic Stones and proceeded to walk along Hildebrand Avenue. Students chanted anti-ICE slogans as they walked, some carrying homemade signs denouncing the agency. Participants then protested at the Hildebrand and Broadway intersection. Though the event was student-led, some faculty came in support. Kennedy Heim, a sophomore human communications major who organized the event with TU Students for Change, said, quote, "Professors came, teachers came, so many people came in support. It was really nice to see," end quote. On the importance of the protests, one of the participants, sophomore math major Aaron Smith, said that, quote, "It's really important to stand up with other people so that you know that you're not alone, and we are not alone in this fight, and we're all working together," end quote. Heim said that the protest goal was to encourage the university to train police officers for ICE encounters since Trinity campus is public. As national headlines make it to Trinity's campus, we here at Newswave will keep you updated.
According to the Trinity University newsletter, Trinity University and the Culinary Institute of San Antonio have collaborated in hosting their first ever entrepreneurial boot camp. Split into a competitive team of 2 students from their respective schools, they race against a 1-week deadline, learning the art of sandwich making while honoring skills in marketing, finance, and storytelling. The competition came to a head on the morning of January 11th, 2026 at the Pearl, as Trinity judges awarded first place to Team Cheesin, which included Kate Klein, the class of 26, and Leslie Rodrigo Ortigan of the class of 28, and the popular vote to Loco Flama, consisting of Team Apple Garcia from the class of 29 and Julia Navarro from the class of 27. According to Marisol Selena McCoy, the Senior Director of Academic Success, The event was, quote, a whirlwind, very fast-paced week for our students. It was great to see them dive in and challenge themselves in many ways. To see them today, in action, live with real customers, brings it all together. They were just amazing.
Coming up, details about the general strike in San Antonio, who participated in the protests across the city.
And your weekly weather update from our chief meteorologist.
Don't go away, we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Get a life in which you're generous. Realize that life is the best thing ever and that you have no business taking it for granted. Care so deeply about its goodness that you want to spread it around. Once in a while, work in a soup kitchen. Be a big brother or a big sister. All of us want to do well, but if we do not do good too, then doing well will never be enough.
Welcome back to Newswave. The Texas Senate saw a surprising shakeup when Democratic Taylor Remitt won his seat in a special election. According to the Texas Tribune, the district Remitt won was also won by Donald Trump by 17 points, making this result unexpected to say the least. Remitt won 57% of the vote and will hold office for 11 months in place of Republican Kelly Hancock, who vacated his seat. Despite the shortened term, many Democrats see this result as a sign that traditionally Republican districts may be up for grabs in November. And Ken Martin, chair of the Democratic National Committee, has this optimism and said, quote, it's clear as day that this is disastrous Republican agenda is hurting working families in Texas and across the country, which is why voters in red, blue, and purple districts are putting their faith in candidates like Taylor Remitt. This overperformance is a warning sign to Republicans across the country, end quote.
As the winter season is set to continue, our chief meteorologist, Luke Morton, has your details on what to expect. Take it away, Luke.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another semester of Newswave. My name is Luke Morton and I am pleased to be the chief weather reporter for one final semester. I hope you all have had a great first few weeks, and let's get to our weather for this week. This past week has seen very quiet and pleasant weather, especially compared to the frigid temperatures we experienced the week prior. This weekend is going to be quite the opposite, with highs in the low 80s and under sunny skies. During the evenings, however, the temperature should quickly cool off, with lows in the upper 40s to near 50. So overall, it should be a great weekend for any outdoor activities. The next week, we'll continue to see warm and pleasant conditions with highs in the upper 70s to near 80 and lows in the mid to upper 50s. Skies should be partly to mostly sunny except for Tuesday, where there is a slight chance for a couple of rain showers, but these should not cause too many issues. Overall, it should be a great week to enjoy being outside, and be sure to savor these cooler months because unfortunately Texas summers are knocking on our door. Anyways, that's going to do it for me this week. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Protests took place across San Antonio on Friday, January 30th, in response to President Trump's immigration policies. The San Antonio Current reports that students at more than 13 local schools walked out of classes, while several local businesses closed or reduced their operating hours. Several businesses also held fundraisers for civil rights and advocacy groups. These protests came in the wake of two deadly shootings in Minneapolis, which has recently become the focal point of the President Trump's immigration crackdown and are part of larger nationwide protests. District 2 City Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez closed his office to support the protests, making a statement on Facebook in which he sought to, quote, denounce the terror ICE is inflicting on all communities, end quote.
According to KSAT, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department awarded over $21 million in grants to cities and counties across the state to upgrade local parks. Among these grants is $1.5 million to San Antonio to add bike, track, lighting, shade structures, and track perimeter construction to Pearsall Park. Also receiving a grant is Leon Valley, who will get $725,000 to renovate Forest Oak Swimming Pool. TPWD said that these local governments receive these grants on a 50-50 reimbursement match basis. In order to receive the money, the sites must remain as parklands, be properly maintained, and be open to the public.
Just ahead, more details on the partial government shutdown and how it came to an end. We'll be right back after this short break.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Last weekend, there was another partial government shutdown that ended very shortly after it started. According to the Social Security Administration, on January 31st, Congress failed to reach an agreement on funding matters for the Department of Homeland Security and other related agencies, so the government partially shut down. The shutdown affected only a few departments, unlike the shutdown last fall, with the IRS, CDC, and Labor Department closing for the shutdown. However, on February 3rd, the U.S. House passed a funding package to end the shutdown and passed it on to President Trump, who quickly signed it into law. While the shutdown ended only 4 days after it began, the Department of Homeland Security is still at risk of losing funding if a new spending bill is not passed by February 13th.
As mentioned throughout the show, the San Antonio community has come together to voice their opinions on immigration policies. Newswave received exclusive footage from the protests. Let's take a look.
Throughout the last few weeks, the San Antonio community has rallied together to protest immigration policies. On January 30th, hundreds filled downtown San Antonio to protest against U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Along with many walking out of schools and work, many businesses also shut down in solidarity or donated profits to charities supporting immigrants. Additionally, on February 2nd, Trinity had a walkout of our own, coordinated by a group of TU Students for Change. The protest took place on Hildebrand Avenue, and students, professors, and faculty members all showed their solidarity.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
All of these demonstrations of free speech showed how the community can come together to voice their collective opinion. For Newswave, this is Kiara Reese.
This Sunday, on February 1st, Puerto Rican singer Bad Bunny made history at the 68th Annual Grammy Awards by winning the Album of the Year with his critically acclaimed Debí Tirar Más Fotos. This win marks the first time a Spanish-language record has won in that category, and the first time that a Spanish-language artist has been nominated for Album, Song, and Record of the Year concurrently. When accepting the award, he used the opportunity to address the ongoing immigration issues in the United States, saying, quote, "ICE out. We're not savages, we're not animals, we are humans and we are Americans." Bad Bunny is also set to perform at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show later this weekend, and is bound to make even more history as the first solo Latino and Spanish-speaking artist to take its stage.
This past Monday was Groundhog Day, when Pakistani Phil emerged from his burrow to deliver a frosty forecast. Tens of thousands of fans braved single-digit temperatures at Gobbler's Knob to witness the groundhog see his shadow, signaling 6 more weeks of winter. The extreme cold was so intense that handlers skipped the traditional photo ops, fearing for the safety of the Pennsylvania weather icon. Longtime attendee Lisa Gibson summed up the festive spirit by saying, quote, "It's like Halloween and New Year's Eve wrapped up in one holiday." The century-old tradition continues to serve as a unifying force in the community during the darkest days of February. Experts at AccuWeather confirm the furry forecaster may be onto something, as below-average temperatures are expected to grip the eastern United States for the foreseeable future.
Still ahead, your Trinity Sports Update alongside international news headlines. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
In Costa Rica, Conservative Sovereign People's Party candidate Laura Fernandez won the presidential election. According to the BBC, with 48% of the votes out of the 88% counted, Fernandez won as Alvaro Ramos conceded defeat. Fernandez's campaign emphasized her tough-on-crime approach, mirroring popular El Salvador President Nayib Bukele's policies. She has said that she will declare a state of emergency where gangs can prominent and finish constructing a high-security jail. However, she has said that her government would be one of, quote, dialogue and national harmony, respectful and firmly based in the rule of law, unquote. Fernandez is expected to have backing in Parliament, as her party won 30 out of 52 seats. She will be sworn in on May 8th, and the second woman to be elected as a leader in a Central American country.
Our sports reporter Jonathan Wong has your updates on Trinity Sports and their recent accomplishments. Let's see what he has in store.
Hello everyone, this is the sports section, and I am your host, Jonathan Wang. Men's basketball have won their 5th in a row after a sweep against Center College, continuing their undefeated streak this past weekend. In addition, the women's team took back their top spot in the SAA rankings after their own win against Center College, and their 2nd win in a row this past weekend. In the world of swim and dive, sophomore Charlotte Broad left the Tigers to a 5th-place finish on the 1-meter board. Freshmen Andy Torres and Juliet Hood followed, placing 8th and 9th, respectively. Moving on to cross-country, 6 individuals were recognized by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association for academic excellence in the fall 25 semester. These included first-year Elijah Bliss, senior Logan Naskey, junior Kelly Good, junior Sophia Munoz, sophomore Annie Snyder, and sophomore Emerson Volden. That's about all I have for the sports section. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I hope to see you all tuning in next week.
On Monday, Israel opened the Rafah crossing to Palestinians looking to exit the Gaza Strip as part of a ceasefire negotiated by the United States. The Rafah crossing is the lone connection between the Gaza Strip and Egypt and represents the only escape for many people stuck in the conflict zone. It was expected that nearly 50 Palestinians would exit through the crossing and another 50 would enter from Egypt. Of the 50 Palestinians who attempted to enter, only 12 were allowed through. According to Reuters, Israel claims the remaining 38 were denied because they did not clear security and had to wait in Egypt overnight. It is expected that nearly 20,000 people will try and exit the Gaza Strip, including some people who need to leave for medical reasons. Mustafa Abdel Hadi, who receives kidney dialysis, said, quote, "The crossing is a lifeline for Gaza. It is the lifeline for us," end quote.
Just a few weeks ago, a United Nations International Oceanic Treaty finally came into force. A legislative journey decades in the making, the treaty was finally adopted in 2023, is now active law. According to the United Nations, the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction, or BBNJ, agreement provides new guidelines for ensuring that international seabeds and waters are sustainably maintained. It is the third implementing agreement that the United Nations Ocean Affairs and Law of the Sea Division has finalized the past 45 years. In addition to regulating international waters, the agreement tackles over other issues such as pollution. For some countries, these new regulations are a welcome sight, as the agreement is legally binding. According to MZ Ali Haji, a Tanzanian diplomat, quote, "Everyone should bear in mind that there is now control of the activity in the high seas. For instance, when you pollute, you are responsible for your acts," end quote. The agreement was signed by more than 100 countries, with many of those countries ratifying the agreement, such as Brazil, the European Union, and China. However, countries like the United States and Russia have not ratified the agreement, and so it remains to be seen how enforceable this agreement will be.
And that's all the time we have for today.
Be sure to check out the Tiger TV table next week at the annual Chocolate Fest. Until next time, I'm Kiara Taylor.
And I'm Baden Russell. Have a great weekend.